Institute, the real spiel. South Africa, stand up. The ICJ, the International Criminal Court of Justice, has just voted against Israel in South Africa's convention or allegation of genocide that Israel has, and continues to perpetuate genocidal acts against the people of Palestine. The court took approximately, I would say 40 minutes, 47. I didn't listen to the French portion, to come to a very firm decision. And I'd like to outline some of it and discuss the ramifications of it for those who are willing to listen. First and foremost, it behooves me to speak to the temerity of South Africa, that did not sit on the normal laurels of a first world nation and simply see something that the rest of the world is watching and say nothing. As a nation, it took steps to call out something that, to be honest with you, no Western nation, no first world nation wants to do. Nobody wants to call out Israel. Nobody wants to call out Israel for a number of reasons, but specifically for the provocation of October 7th, created by Hamas themselves. And nobody wants to call out Israel because it has always been status quo to wholeheartedly support the cause of the Israeli government and its desire to perpetuate Zionism around the world. That's a very difficult idealism to stand up to. And to the credit of South Africa and to the lawyers that put this case together, and quite frankly, high school students could have put this case together. I mean, all you needed was a YouTube channel to put this case together, which is essentially and effectively what they utilized to show Israel's intent on a conspiracy of genocide. And this is where the court came to. The court said, listen, after weighing the allegation, what we have found is that by the time it would take for us to investigate the merits of the allegation, due to the seriousness of what is taking place, that time would be too late. That's what they said. We established that first and foremost we have jurisdiction. The word I say it as prima facie. They say it a little different, but they say prima facie. But I say prima facie jurisdiction, and they have presented a prima facie case, a case that has all of the tenets required to come to what Article 9 considers to be genocide, and apparently Article 2 and Article 3. South Africa presented a prima facie case. The court said also the standing of South Africa is not in question. They have the right to bring it. They have the right in this particular forum to bring it. And what they brought to bear demonstrates that there is a potential threat of genocide that can be founded if we took the time to investigate all of the merits of the allegation of South Africa. And I'm paraphrasing, but I think I'm getting 90%. Amen to you, Black Panther. And so what took place next is the court said, listen, because what we have seen here, because what we have heard, because of the statements that have been presented, and because of the findings of independent organizations like WHO, the World Health Organization, that has said that it is a de-escalating circumstance and situation in Palestine. It is a health emergency. It is a humanitarian emergency. And the words of various Israeli officials that said, we are fighting against human animals. We will not give them one drop of water, one bit of electricity until they no longer are here, meaning on earth, not no longer here, meaning in Palestine or in Gaza. The ICJ, in my opinion, had a fantastic determination. Say this, a few things they said, and there's a twist at the end, but wait for it. They said Israel must do everything within its power to ensure that their military is not committing genocide in Palestine. They said that Israel must do everything in its power to ensure that it is not producing conditions to stop the continuation of the Palestinian, of also producing children, which is another article. I think it's I don't know. I've never read the articles. Only what I'm hearing from the judge. I believe she said it was Article 2, which is another aspect of genocide. Might be 2 or 3. Forgive me. I haven't read it. I'm just listening to what the woman said. I'm trying to sound smart, but I'm really just echoing what she said. And if I'm doing it incorrectly in those particular articles, I apologize. But an aspect of genocide is you have done something, you are doing something to make sure that these people cannot reproduce children. That's another aspect of genocide. And so they are saying, essentially, Israel also has 30 days to submit a report to the ICJ, of which South Africa will have the capacity to review and comment on, to demonstrate their anti-genocide actions that they have taken steps to meet in order that they can be in compliance with the order of the ICJ. And last but not least, they did say Hamas is to release all of its hostages forthwith, immediately, and return them to Israel. Now, in summation, this is a very serious victory for a number of reasons. It puts the Israeli government and delegation in a position that contravention of that order absolutely puts them in a position to be imprisoned. That is an international court finding genocide against particular individuals, backed by the United Nations. Secondly, it holds Israel accountable to the world. It gives Palestine a leg up in respect to its consideration of being a legitimate state, and pushes the plight of the Palestinian towards A, getting back into their homeland, and B, not simply just being eradicated by Israel. But C is my turn of events. I'll use this particular analogy. It's an Aesop's fable. And in this Aesop's fable, a lion. Aesop always uses lions, donkeys, and foxes. You'll know it's an Aesop fable if you hear those three being involved. So a lion approaches a farmer who has a beautiful daughter. And he says, "Mr. Farmer, I want to marry your daughter." And the farmer, of course, being very intimidated and very afraid of the lion, said, "Mr. Lion, I would love to have you as a son-in-law. I just have one condition, and I'd be pleased to give you my daughter." The lion, being very excited and being very much in love with the farmer's daughter, said, "Please, anything, I'll do anything. Tell me what I have to do." See, Mr. Lion, because my daughter is such a sensitive child, I'm concerned for her. So if you would just go and remove all of your claws and all of your teeth and come back here, Mr. Lion, my daughter is yours. And so the lion, you know, kind of shakes his head and realizes that his love for this woman is much more than his love for his claws or his teeth. And the lion goes and sees a very intelligent fox, and the fox removes his teeth and removes his claws and sends him back to the farmer and says, Mr. Lion, go ahead and go claim your bride. The lion goes back to the farmer and says, Mr. Farmer, I removed my teeth, I removed my claws. I've come to claim your daughter. The farmer says, are you sure? Your claws are gone. All your teeth are gone. He says, yes, I removed my teeth, I removed my claws. I've come to claim your daughter. The farmer take out one big stick and beat that lion so far, the lion had to run its tail out of that farmer's yard. What is the point of my Aesop's fable? That anything that doesn't have any teeth is not threatening at all. No claws, no teeth, ain't threatening at all. And the ICJ has no claws and no teeth and no smoke to make Israel do a doggone thing. So in the end, South Africa, of course, scored a wonderful victory for Africa, a wonderful victory for justice, a wonderful victory for humanity. It balances the playing field, and for those who are pro-Israel Israelis, this is not a scenario of anti-Israeli sentiment. This is a scenario of humanitarian sentiment. When you eradicate 93% of a population from a particular area, when you have killed over 10,000 civilians, include mostly children and women, you have a problem on your hands. And the world can't sit by and just let you do that. I'm sorry. The world can't sit by and let you do it. Unfortunately, this is not biblical times, and there has been no edict from the Lord that has told those Israelis, go out there and wipe out Palestine. If God had said it, that's different. Different way. Who can argue with God? But this is not God. This is Netanyahu and his president and his leaders and the IDF and individuals who are very angry, and rightfully so. Nobody's saying they don't have a right to be angry. But when you have done this much, somebody has to tap you on the shoulder and say, take a breath. Take a breath. Calm down. I have been in situations where I've been in a dust-up. Somebody did something to me, justified, punched me first, hit me first, and I was wrecking them so badly that somebody had to say, hey, calm down now. Let him go, Dell. You've done enough. But did you see what he did to my? Yeah, we saw it. But bro, look at the man now. I think he learned his lesson. So this is not anti-Israeli sentiment. This is humanity. This is telling your friend, listen, friend, you did a lot. You did a lot right there. You can calm down now. You can take it easy now. This concept now, two people have said, how can the ICF, not ICJ, sorry, the ICJ not demand a ceasefire? That would be pushing it too far. That would be pushing it too far. I mean, the ICJ realizes, listen, we can make recommendations, but we can't do nothing. What do you want us to do? You want these old decrepit judges up here to get up and do something? We can't do nothing? The ICJ's army. Who is that? Canada? It's probably made up of it's made up of UN peacekeepers from various countries. They don't have that. They don't have that. They can't make the IDF do nothing. All they can do is put Israel on notice, right? My question now is, what is the response going to be from Israel from this? Will they comply with the 30 days of show us what you've done? Will the rhetoric, which is damning, will the rhetoric from Israeli officials calling Palestinians, or aka Hamas, their enemy, those people, human animals, and et cetera, will they cease the rhetoric? Now, let me say this in all humility. We here in the West, me, we have a lot of nerve poking our nose into Middle Eastern, it's called the Middle Eastern business. We don't know all the players. We don't know all the ramifications. I'm not living there. It's easy for us to sit back there and say, oh my goodness, you're doing so much. It's easy for us. We're not in the fight. It's not our fight. We're not feeling it, okay? We're not feeling the 1,000 people that were killed to start this thing going, the people that were taken hostage, the children, the young women, the models. We're not feeling the rapes and all these other things that have been alleged. We're not feeling those things. We don't understand the domestic actors that are participating and taking place in the midst of that situation 100%. We are bystanders. That's what we are. But we are bystanders who are called the rest of human civilized society that must gasp when children and women and old mothers are killed. We must gasp when entire civilizations are at the brink of being wiped out, because you know what? We're civilized. But the unfortunate thing is, I always come back to this. When it's black people getting killed, y'all don't gasp for us. We gasping for all you, but you don't gasp for us. You didn't gasp in the Congo. You didn't move ICJ when Syria had all kind of black people jailed and locked up, calling them slaves. You didn't gasp when those Chinese were locking up Africans because they felt that Africans were carriers of the COVID-19 that they developed in their own country. You didn't gasp when those things were happening. And the only people that get up and gasp and exercise themselves for humanity seems to be the African. So South Africa, thank you for being the truest representation of actual true justice and a real civilized mindset towards humanity that is not partial towards any particular nation or religion or ideology, but just looks at the death toll and says enough is enough. Thank you, South Africa. And I hope the rest of you, the African nation, the world needs to hear from Africa. The world needs to hear from you, the brightest minds in the world, the cradle of civilization, the place of Eden itself. The world needs to hear from you, because the world is off its rocker. I said this to one of my European colonizer friends. I said, listen to me, white people have only been running the world for a very short period of time. You were savages when we were running around actually governing. Don't get excited. You're a warlike group. You've taken over by war, but you do not have the capacity for civilization. And this is true. This is true. You're killing everybody. You're dropping bombs and you're making up stuff to kill people. You are inventive when it comes to death. Absolutely. And the European Israeli, you are right up that alley. You are one inventive murderer. So, now that we've exercised the complete might of the Israeli government, your technology, your sophistication of war, why don't you show us something else? And the ICJ said it just like that. Show us conditions of which you are trying to maintain non-genocide. Show us those things, my friends. Show us those things. So this is where it is now. And for those who are sitting on your high horse and feeling that, for some reason Israel gets a pass or America gets a pass or any nation gets a pass, no one gets a pass to kill babies. I'm sorry. Unless God is speaking from the mountaintop somewhere and saying, thou shalt wipe out everything that breathed, the cattle, the sheep. Unless God is saying that, You Israelis don't have the right to just simply exterminate anyone. I'm sorry. Just like no one had the right to exterminate you, which is why you even have a nation that you still have acquired from somebody else. But it's why NATO felt fit to say you need some place to be safe. And the Palestinian, and I said it again, the ICJ has done a lot to make the cause of the Palestinian to return to Gaza to be something that is plausible in the future. It will not happen in the life of Netanyahu or this regime. So, I mean, but at the end of the day, Palestine will be somewhere. It just won't be there. And hopefully those that are actually Palestinian and have the right to say things that I am just saying on my own might have the good sense to say, maybe we don't want to live next to these murderers. Maybe we want to live in a place where we don't have to worry about individuals who are clearly trying to wipe us out. Right? And this is and this story speaks to more things. It speaks to more things. It speaks to the fact that at one time you could push the Israeli around. One time you could scare the Jew. I'll tell you, that Jew ain't scared no more. He ain't scared no more. He's a bully now. And the bully's got weapons of warfare. And they are carnal. They are definitely carnal. Weapons of warfare. And you can't play with them no more. So I would get out of their doggone way. Because Iran, Yemen, Hezbollah, all you other factions, they got receipts, and Israel's coming for all of you. And if the ICJ can slow them down for a second, God bless the ICJ. But slowing them down for Palestinian babies is a complete difference than slowing them down for individuals that they have identified to be terrorists. And Israel's on a war path, and I'm saying buckle up your seatbelts. 2024 to 2025, Israel is going to be causing war because they're not finished yet. And if they can get control of the political side of this Palestinian issue, which is at the precipice of just being considered full-fledged genocide, if they can get control of this politically, if they can respond effectively to the ICJ, they can salvage this and set their sights on individuals who nobody will care if they kill. Nobody's going to care if Israel comes to kill Hezbollah. Nobody's going to care. They're going to call everything Hezbollah. They're going to call everything ISIS. They're going to call everything terrorists. And they're going to go after it, and they're going to kill it. And then you're going to realize they're just talking about Iran. They're just talking about, they're going to call Houthis. You're going to hear all kind of names. All right, but it's really just Iran they're coming for, and anything that Iran backs, they're coming to kill. And they believe that Hamas is backed by Iran, and that's why they want them gone. And they will set their sights on the real enemy eventually. But the real enemy is not a grandmother, and it's not a little boy. But what Israel has done, and they've guaranteed for themselves, and now it's documented, they have guaranteed for themselves a generation of individuals that will be coming back to remember this moment. And this is why genocide sounds so nice to them. They don't want little boys who've watched their fathers and their mothers and their grandmothers and their sisters and their brothers and their uncles and their aunties be killed to be radicalized and grow up to say, I will not stop until there is no place called Israel in the world. And that's what they have effectively done with this. The Israeli has made an enemy of a whole lot of people. And so what's going to be now the case, and this is extra footage. The world of which we have started here in Canada are going to be the new destination of developing the future Palestinian activists. I ain't gonna call you terrorists, But those future activists, these future individuals, these few men and women that are saying, remember, and they're going to be looking. They're going to be looking. I'm backing up here. They're going to be looking to make sure nobody ever forgets what took place here. They're going to be very, very expressively looking to do that. They don't want nobody to forget what took place here, because nobody's going to be able to wash away the fact that the ICJ has ruled against Israel. And although they didn't go full-fledged and call it genocide, this ruling is enough to justify what's taken place with South Africa and has taken place in the world, that other people are saying Israel is committing genocide in Palestine. They're going to say the ICJ ruled against them, and they were given conditions. They lost in court. The world knows what they were doing. They have killed our grandfathers, our mothers, our sisters. They have displaced us. They have stolen our country. They are the true terrorists, and nothing's going to wipe that away. And so today is an interesting day. Israel has a moment to respond. Israel, the wiser minds in Israel have the capacity to respond effectively. I don't know how you're going to do it. I think Israel's going to ignore all of it, to be honest with you. I think Israel's going to ignore all of it. These people laugh at South Africa. I believe so. South Africa filed charges against the USA Today too. Good. I'm glad, because you can't file charges against Israel and not file charges against America. It's impossible. It's the same it's the same group. It's the same attacker. You can't. One's got the gun, the other's holding the bag, and the rest of the world is driving the getaway car. So it's impossible, and it's going to be a very interesting thing. Sooner or later, if the ICJ keeps going, if the ICJ keeps actually dispensing justice, it will cease to exist. Somebody's going to create something different and abandon the ICJ. International Criminal Court's going to be no longer. If they find against America, whoof. So anyway, that's my time. Look it up. Salute to you too, Satro. River to the sea, they say. Amen. Yeah. It's going to be quite a set of events here. So South Africa made short work of Israel. And if those lawyers are on point like they were, it's going to be quite a thing to see. Now, in closing, it is unfair to say that the ICJ did nothing. I've heard pro-Palestinian voices. I don't know if you guys listen to this guy. I think he's brilliant personally. His station is called Middle Nation. His name slips me. I will have it. Quite an intelligent man, pro-Palestinian Muslim. He's a brilliant guy. But his take on it, I didn't like. He said the ICJ did nothing. They didn't do nothing. They operate within the scope of their powers, and you can't force them to effectively do more. These are lawyers. These are lawyers who have said there's enough here. There's a prima facie case here, enough to have a deeper investigation, almost like a grand jury. But we are fearful that at the end of our investigation, this will have gone too far. So this is what we're going to do for now. And I see nothing wrong with what they've done. Okay, I've seen nothing wrong with what they've done. Everything in its measurement, everything in its time. But the ICJ doesn't have teeth to do more. But what it has done a lot. I was shocked at how much they did, to be honest with you. If America doesn't win, they will create a new ICJ. They will. They will create something else and say, "Oh, this is nonsense. We're going to create our own over here," and give it all the press, all the publication to the ICJ. Will not even know what it is. You won't even hear about that. You'll have commentators and right wing, left wing individuals saying, "Oh, this is some communist court of anti-American sentiment." They'll wipe that away, and Israel and everybody else will pop on and they'll be like, "Come join us over here." But only Israel and America are going to be over there, and France, and England, and Germany, and the list goes on, right? So, God bless Africa, and I really hope this is the beginning of a new African voice of world justice. To quite frankly, I was getting very excited about Malema, but Malema doesn't know where his head is supposed to be. He doesn't know his head from his neck. I can't stand with a guy that unbalanced. He doesn't know where he needs to be. He's supporting everything. He supports everything. It's too much. Gone too far for me, Malema. But I am liking what South Africa is doing here. So in closing, the ICJ has ruled against Israel, unequivocally against Israel, has not looked over the fact that Hamas still has hostages, has given Israel 30 days to produce a report demonstrating how they are doing things to stop genocide, and has unequivocally told them of the sections of the articles to stop and cease and desist any actions within all of their power to do so. And I'm excited about it. I like it, and I ain't gonna stop liking it. This is Del K. Brereton. This is The Real Spiel. This is the Shiloh Institute. We're gonna talk about this more and see what is happening, and see what happens, and see what comes of this more. But be vigilant, be a voice, be wise. Don't fall into the same traps, but listen and hear and understand. And let's see if justice will prevail in the end. I'll talk to you soon.